Hello, this is Mike, Little Asian Store, and just wanted to show you the walk-in cooler that I built. It wasn't very hard, and of course you can build your own cooler. One of the more important details on this lock, I've got a shim, and the purpose of this shim is to keep out any air filtration. That's really important when you're trying to maintain a cold temperature. And we've got here just a regular window AC. Cheap, very cheap build. And I want you to notice all this debris. And as I referred to in another video, I have simply taken a screen, alright, and ran some silicone over these vents, and you see how much debris it's kept out. And this thing is really kicking out the heat. Alright, so let me take you inside and show you a little bit about it, and then I will take you back inside and show you some of the things you're going to have to do in order to get this thing up and running. Alright, so just open this door, and I'm going to show you right away the temperature. Alright, it's 3.3 Celsius. Okay, that's real cold. I think I have it set for 3 Celsius, so as soon as this hits 3, it'll kick off. Now it's going to warm up really fast in here, but basically all I have is 4 inches of insulation. Okay, 4 inches of insulation. I had to cut some back here, and the floor is only 2 inches, and I put in a plastic floor. These are just tables to have a very durable place to stack things. And this door, it's only 2 inches thick, so there are some places that it's not very thick, but in general, the floor is 2 inches, the door is 2 inches, but the rest of the trailer is 4 inches thick, and we're able to maintain it down to 36 degrees, no problem. I'm going to show you real quick the front of the AC, and what you see there is the thermostat, and it's not touching the coils, but it's there just in case we were to get some ice. Ice would obviously block the flow of the air, and it would warm up very quickly in here. But it's not touching the fins, but it is close enough to keep the fins, in order to let it to cycle. If the ice does build up, it touches the thermostat, and this this thermostat regulator will kick off. Now I'm going to take you inside and show you how we set this up, how it's hooked up to the AC. But it's going to be in a more comfortable environment. I have to keep this room cold because there is produce in here, okay? So be right back, and we'll show you how this build is going to go. Okay, so we're back, but before we go any further with the timer, I just wanted to go over that cooler again so you get a good understanding. I'm going to slow it down a little bit because it can be easy to miss a step, and I don't want to rush this too fast and it get confusing. So outside, we made sure that the door was securely closed, 0 air infiltration. We also removed the filter because it's such a small space and no one's living in it. The most efficient method is to use 0 filter and just to clean it every 6 months. Okay, I had a mesh on top, just a regular screen glued, and this is just a 5,000 BTU AC, and you saw it, it was at 3.7 Celsius. 4 Celsius is about almost 40 degrees, so we were probably looking at 37 degrees. Again, it's very important for the thermostat, which is this wire right here, not to touch the fins. Alright, just close enough so that if there's any ice buildup, that it will kick the thermostat up. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to use this timer. Sorry, it's not a timer, it is a thermostat. I'm going to show you how to hook it up and how to prepare your wires. It is only a 2-wire system. So you just have your hot and your neutral, and that's it. So let me show you this jumper I've created, and I've color coded it. Now, I just bought a regular cheap extension cord. Not so cheap. It is 13 amps. Alright, that's plenty of power to supply for that compressor. Now this thermostat's not going to shut the whole AC off. It's only going to shut off the compressor. So the fan's going to run all the time to make sure that the air is circulated. And you can use this for making beer, you know, keeping a controlled temperature, or if you want to hang meat, or you need a walk-in cooler for whatever reason. Alright, so now, I don't know if you saw my other video, but there's a way to determine which side is hot and which side's neutral. Now I've labeled these. You see, black is going to be our hot, and then white's neutral. Well, if you look real closely here, this one has serrations. Alright, you can actually feel them. If you're in person, you can see them quite well. And I just kind of took a marker and went over them, so I hope that stands up good enough to see them. So this is your neutral, and this is going to be your hot, and I just cut it. So we actually need 2 hots. So I've taken a wire nut and I stripped this back, and I added 2 stubs. Now we would want to tape this up to make sure it's very secure. Okay, so what we're going to need for this project, this portion of the project: screwdriver to remove this. It's a Phillips head. Now these come in 8 amp and also 20 amp, and there's probably more out there, but you know, for the money, you can't beat it. Maybe $15 for the 8 amp. The 20 amp's quite more expensive, but you know, if you're using 5,000 or 8,000 BTU, you can go with 8 amps. But if you're going on up there to the 13.5, you know, 13,500 BTU ACs, you're going to need the 20 amp thermostat. Otherwise, you will actually melt these terminals in here. Alright, and you also have to upgrade your cord supplying it. It's got to be 10 gauge. Alright, so we're going to use wire nuts, and for color coding, this is just for showing purposes. I've got white to determine the neutral and black. And remember, smooth line is hot. That's our one we're most interested in. And the neutral has got lines. Okay, you can feel them. You can hear them when you run your finger down them. We've got some wire strippers, a very fine screwdriver. This is also just for display. The pin is what I marked it with, and a pair of cutters. So cut it in half. Of course, your thermostat. So let me set this camera up and show you how we're going to do this. Alright, so see if I can get rid of this glare. This is a 110 power supply, and the whole purpose of these first 2 screws is to give this power. Alright, so I've already loosened these. I've got the hot going in first. Tighten that down. Do not over tighten it, you will break it. So tighten it just enough. Alright, and the second wire is going to be your neutral. And I see I've got stray here, so I'm going to put it back with the group. Now, at this point, we have power for the thermostat. Now we're going to be using this for the AC. This thermostat is capable of AC and heating, cooling, heating. So next we're going to use our sensor, and it does not matter how you hook these up. You can hook it up left, right, there's no indicator, these wires aren't different in any way. So just hook one on one side, one on the other side. Real simple. Okay, I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, feel free, let us know, and we will try to assist you in any way. Alright, now we're going to the cooling, and notice this portion right here that's broken. Okay, there's your indicator, 10 amps. 10 amps. Alright, so this one is solid. This is where we're going to use our secondary hot. Alright, that's why we stubbed it. Now if you're going for heat, then you'd use it here. But we're going for cooling. Sorry, I've been talking all day today. Alright. Three arms. Now, what's this finer wire? Okay, the final wire, all you need is a piece. This is 12 gauge. It's overkill. Alright? Overkill for what we're doing. So just strip it back, and when it goes underneath that screw, you do not need much. Sometimes less is more. If you have too much, then it can stick out, and then you start having crossing, and your compressor will be on all the time instead of being switched. And that's it. Simple, right? Alright, so one more time. We've got our hot and our neutral. That supplies power to this. Matter of fact, I can turn it on. I'm going to leave this wire out of the loop. See? Alright, it's 29 Celsius. By the way, outside, when it was 3.7 Celsius, it's actually 88 degrees Fahrenheit. So that cooler, using that AC, was able to take it all the way down to 37, 38 degrees. That's phenomenal. It's just a 5,000 BTU AC. Alright, so this supplies your power. Here it says sensor. That's going to be this wire. And if I were to hold on to it and plug it in, you know, we could get a body temperature. This is, see, it's solid line. This is your hot, your secondary hot. Alright? And this one that's broken is the one that the thermostat is going to turn on and off. So, instead of the thermostat, the mechanical thermostat, or the digital thermostat, I have one that I converted that was digital. And of course they only go to 60 degrees, right? So instead of using that thermostat, I have switched it to this one. So I can control it down. I don't want them too cold. 40 is about what I really want. And 4 Celsius is around 39 degrees. And that's true temperature, okay? It blows out and it returns. It's not touching the fins. It's just really close. You know, you can imagine if these were the fins. It's just really close so that if there's any ice buildup, the ice will come in contact with the sensor and turn off the compressor. That really isn't a problem. You know, after a while, it runs just like clockwork. You get enough of the humidity out of your cooler, and the ice doesn't build up anymore. And this sensor is close enough that we lost our battery. Alright, this sensor is close enough that if there was to be any ice buildup, it would shut it off. Alright, and so this wire, of course, we're unplugged. Always work on it unplugged. This wire we're going to disconnect the mechanical or digital thermostat, and this is going to run to the capacitor. It's pretty easy to determine. And the other one that's going to the thermostat, you either let it continue to go through the thermostat. If you can tell which one's which, you might have to disconnect them and use a multimeter to find which one's hot and which one's not. The one that's not hot is going to be going to the capacitor. Make sure you're very careful about this, but if it's coming from the switch and you've already cut them. Alright, so I'm back outside and I just wanted to show you a couple things, how to set the timer up. And I remember posting another video about putting a screen over your AC that protects it from all the debris. Really helps out, make your AC last a lot longer. So let me take you inside and I'll try to talk over the AC. That way it can stay cool in there. Or maybe I'll just unplug it. Ooh, nice healthy 3.2. I guess I have this set for 3 Celsius. But I'm going to step in here and now this thermostat is mounted, okay? You want to have it mounted so it doesn't get knocked around and oh, it's cold in here. You don't want to get knocked around and your wires become loose. I did forget to foam up and underneath, so there is a little bit of air infiltration. And it's been about 6 months, so I'm glad I came in here and am doing this video, so I know it's time to clean this. This thermostat setup, you see it's just right beside, I don't know if I can get a good picture, just right beside our fins. You don't want it touching. Definitely don't want it touching. Alright, now above here we have the thermostat, and to that thermostat there's only 2 wires. There's actually 2 wires, and then there's another one that's going to come up and mount somewhere here right next to the fins, just like we've done. And you're going to need a multimeter for this. One of these is going to be hot, and the other one is going to go to the capacitor, which goes directly to the compressor. Okay, so make sure you be careful when you're doing this project. Don't touch any of the wires, even if you have unplugged it, because capacitors will store some electrical shock, and you just don't want to be any part of that. Okay, so one of these, the one with power, you're going to have to disconnect the thermostat from these 2 wires, and you're going to have to meter them. The one that has 110 volts, once you plug it back in, you're going to test that. You test one wire with one lead, and you go to the ground. Alright? If it's hot, you simply take a wire nut and cover it over. And the one that's not hot, alright, whichever one you find out that's not hot, you touch it to here, and you touch it to the ground, and it is plugged in at this time, so you're being really careful. At that point, you take the lead off the back of the thermostat we had just talked about. Sorry, I still get the door open, so there's a lot of air infiltration, and I'm starting to freeze. which is nice. It's 95 degrees outside today. So as long as you got it insulated, you're not going to have a problem bringing your temperature down. Alright, so the second wire is going down to the back of the thermostat. Remember, we had it broken. It was the one, excuse me, it was the one that had the broken line on the back. So it had that one lead. So you run, make sure your lead's long enough, and you run from the back to the wire without power. And that, once you get your thermostat set, there's a book that comes with these. Once you get it set, it'll kick on and off according to temperature. I might just bring this up. I really don't need it to get down to 36 degrees. I've also got some lights, LED lights in here, and they came off of something else, but I'm going to get out of here. It's cold. We'll discuss the rest of the video. Alright, so just remember to keep in mind air infiltration is your #1 killer. It will prohibit your cooler from getting down to the temperature that you want. Now this is actually 7 foot tall. I did lose 6 inches to insulation. 2 inches on the bottom, 4 inches on the top. If you go to an 8 by 8, you probably should upgrade to an 8,000 BTU. You really don't have to if you have enough insulation. So, you know, with enough insulation, a 5,000 BTU can take any room, as long as there's no air infiltration, down to the temperature you want. But if you're going to go 10 foot and above, you'll have to go with the 13,500 BTU AC, and you'll have to use that heavier thermostat. Now, the heavier thermostat's nice. In general, they come with Fahrenheit. But again, if you are going to set this at one temperature, and you know that 4 degrees Celsius is 39, and you're happy with that, or you're setting it at 10 degrees Celsius, and you know the temperature that's going to meet your requirements for making wine or beer or whatever you need to maintain a constant temperature, then go ahead and go with Celsius. It's just cheap, $15. I've got another setup just like this, and I did build this trailer mostly from used parts. It's aluminum. I've got 2x2 aluminum bars, and you can get these when people tear the screen porches down. They use these 2x2 aluminum pieces, and I just used a piano hinge on the door. Next video, maybe we can do one about how to use the same controller for heat. If you're going to go with a regular ceramic or regular heat, forced heat fan, you'll have to use the heavier thermostat. But if you're just going to use a infrared or something, you know, that's under 800 watts, you can go with the cheap thermostat as well, and place the good digital thermostat where you want it to be comfortable. So I know a lot of these heaters are set on the floor and heat rises, so you know it's 85 degrees up above and it's still 70 degrees on the floor, and it's just very uncomfortable. And plus the thermostats are kind of magnetically sprung, so they don't really have a good control system. You're either too hot or too cold with them, and you can definitely use these thermostats to control that. So maybe we do a heat video. I've also got a Toyota Prius. The master light came on, and I was able to solve what was causing that. And when the master light came on, you could not drive it, you could not start it. It was crazy. Still want to do an episode on magnesium, some other vitamins. I am kind of a health nut, and that's really is my passion. So stay tuned for these. If you have any videos you want to see or any questions on this one, just let me know. Please subscribe, and peace out.